Hey everyone, welcome back to Make Believe. Today I have an episode for you. As you know, we are in this series of Silence Speaks, and you know I've been talking a lot. But this actual episode is about the silence of artist development. What happened to it? Why did we stop talking about artist development? What do you even do if you're needing to be developed as an artist? And so today I have one of my closest friends. His name is Sal Oliveri, and he is originally from New Jersey, but he's been in Nashville for many years. And he was one of the people that developed me. A lot of you guys don't know my story, but he helped me from the beginning, from the early days. It helped me to know that I was more than just a singer, more than just a vocal producer. He just helped me to see my full potential as an artist. And so that's what we're here to talk about today, and it's going to be amazing.
All you need to do is make believe. All you need to do is make believe. When you can't find your way, all you need to do is make believe. In a world of ups and downs, in the shadows where you doubt, can't afford to keep wasting time. All you need to do is make believe.
All right, Sal, here we are. What's up, and welcome to Make Believe.
Thanks for having me. It's always going to be a good time when
Can
it's
you
and
believe
me.
I'm doing this?
I love it. No, this is a natural progression for you. I love it.
Dude, I'm so excited. This, like I said earlier, you know my life story here in Nashville. You were actually one of the first people first persons, I guess, personal people, whatever, you know what I mean? You were one of the first that I met when I was down here, and I was new in music, trying to understand it, and you just took the time. And I just want to just say, first of all, thank you for being on this show. But you've done so much. I know people are watching like, well, what is Sal? You've worked with like, I'm not even going to the whole list, but like Pink, and you've done some stuff with Chris Stapleton, country, a lot of country artists, a lot of Christian stuff. You started out in the Christian industry, and then you kind of did some mainstream and country stuff. And what are you doing right now? Are you still doing all the above, or are
Yeah.
you?
Yeah, it's a mix. I couldn't, I think I would be bored if I just was doing one style.
Right.
And so I have spent most of my life just figuring out what makes each genre unique, what makes R&B have a feel, or rock or pop.
Yeah.
So I'm currently doing a big Easter project for next year with a big cast of singers and an orchestra
Nice.
and a band, and then I've got
Okay.
a couple country artists, and I've got a pop thing. Doing a lot more writing lately,
Yeah.
so it's always a mixture.
Yeah, and beyond that, throughout all these years, your heart has been artist development.
Yeah.
Like, where did that come from, and why did you decide to like position your career as an artist developer?
It's interesting the way it came about because I sort of stumbled into it. What was happening was early in my career, I was working with mostly independent artists that, that's where you start. If you
Right.
don't start at the top.
Right.
And I realized that a lot of these artists, they maybe could write songs and maybe sing, but they didn't know any other part of the process. Or maybe they needed help with the writing and they needed stuff. So a lot of times producers were just like, well, my role is just to make music.
Right.
Right. And that is the producer role.
Yeah.
But really, at a label, you would have another person, an A&R person, who would guide you through the entire process
Yes.
of song choice and style and branding and all
Yes.
these things, right? And I realized these people, basically, I could make good music for them. That's at the time when we used to make CDs, would be a stack of 900 CDs in their closet because they
Yes.
had no concept of how the whole package had to work together.
Yes.
So I thought if I really want to help these people, which was my main goal, music is what I lead with, but I
Right.
thought I've got to figure out how to help these people succeed because I believe in the gift that they have.
Yeah.
So just making music for them and taking a check, I could have stopped there, but I just thought, no, they need more than that. And
Yeah.
honestly, the crux of it is when I discovered, like, every person has a gift from God. And rather than becoming a caricature of somebody else who's already famous and
Right.
trying to live in somebody's shadow. What's there?
Right.
And pulling it out. And so that just, the more I kept digging into what might God want to do with this set of gifts and this
Yeah.
person, just led me down that path to
Yeah,
helping
and
people.
you're so good at it. I mean, like, I'll just start with me. Like, what did you see when I came to you, as this new person in Nashville, doing a little session stuff,
Yeah.
trying to figure out how to even be an artist?
Right.
What's your take on my journey, I guess now? We
Yeah.
can talk about it.
I remember you played me some recordings you had made, maybe back in Cincinnati or some Chicago, somewhere.
Yeah.
And what I immediately heard was, well, let me back up.
Mm-hmm.
I felt good when I heard it. It made me go, like, it made me happy or made me just enjoy it. It was interesting. It wasn't boring. So that's how it made me feel. And that
Yeah.
is so important because you can be musically perfect and be boring, right? Or just be too much of a derivative of something else. But the other thing I heard was just in your vocals and your melody writing was like, oh, these are hooky melodies.
Yeah.
And the way you layered vocals. I remember asking you, like, who arranged your background vocals? And you're like, I did. And I was like all the parts? And you're like, yeah. And I was like, dang, like,
And I was just kind of learning, from doing session stuff and kind of watching people. And I was like,
Yeah.
well, I think we'll try this. And I think we'll try this. And
Right.
so I just kind of came to you,
yeah,
just like,
yeah. So what I noticed, if I could put it in one word, it was you had really good taste. And so people that are great and succeed have good taste.
Yeah.
And that's like, I have a session later today with a bunch of session musicians. They're excellent in what they do and they bring good instruments.
Yeah.
But what I'm really hiring is their musical taste to go, here's what the direction we're going. And then what they bring to that in their
Yeah.
choices. And that's what I heard in you was like, you have really great musical sense and taste that I
Wow.
appreciated. So then it was like, well, okay, you know how to do that piece, but I can help you fill in the gap with some other
Yeah.
stuff. I could bring some musicians to the table. I could bring studios to the table.
See, you were so helpful for me because when I look back at my journey, I was like brand new as a singer. Like a lot of people didn't realize that I didn't start singing until after college. And so I moved to Nashville just a few years after college. And so I'm here with this new gift and I'm learning session singing and I'm learning that people just are not singing in sessions, they're writing, and I was very green, and so when I came and talked to you, you could have been like, oh, you could have saw my skill and just said, well, this is what you do, I'm the producer. But I remember after, you the one who helped me produce my big song back then, Unrestrained, and some of my other songs, and at the end of it, you were like, Calvin, I really feel like you need to be considered co-producer. And I didn't even have the expectation of being a co-producer, but you had just said it. And it was because of the way that I was producing the vocals. And you weren't being like territorial over, well, I'm the producer, even though he did this, I'm over it. Because a lot of producers don't want to give credit to the people that do vocal production. I've seen that in town. But you really, and by you giving me that opportunity, it spoke something to my potential of like, oh, I could be more than a singer, And so I could be a producer. And so I kind of went back and forth with doing my record. And you were even so kind to, even if I couldn't afford you at the time, I had some other people doing demos. You would take the time and say, now, when you go back to this producer that's doing your demo, tell him you need it to sound like this. Tell him it needs to flow like this. And then take this and take that, and then, but you weren't just selfish about Sal. I didn't produce that track, so I'm not worried about it. You really cared about the person, and I just wanted to say, first of all, thank you, because now, from that point, I started doing vocal production with Ash My Hill. Phil Thompson, for those that know, he's big. Here's My Worship, and Phil even talks about our production with Unrestrained. If you listen to Unrestrained,
that's what brought him.
That's what brought out, here's my worship, I pour my, like you could almost sing those in a medley, and I'm really grateful for those opportunities. But as I started to realize, and so now, I mean, you've even helped me to when I did the Aware Worship Project. Like you just been rooting from the sidelines, and so now I'm a producer. I find an engineer, and then I'm doing the whole thing.
Yeah.
But I have to really give you credit because you really helped develop. Now, my biggest thought is, when you think of people that were developed back in the day, so Berry Gordy, Quincy Jones, they all developed Michael Jackson. Clive Davis developed Whitney Houston. And it wasn't that they were just, that they didn't have the talent. They had the bona fide talent, but it was like the industry was so bought into the long-term trajectory of their career. So we're with you. So if you have a hit, we're with you. If you don't have a hit, we're with you, and we're going to figure this out. What do you think has happened to this on a bigger global picture?
Yeah, so quick recap of the history, right? So you've got like 50s and 60s from Elvis and all the 60s music and Stevie Wonder and all that. The labels were pretty much run by either music lovers or music makers. If you watch the Ray documentary, you see his record company executive was kind of the producer on the session who loved music and try this for mess around, and they were they were fans. They loved it. They saw the talent. They wanted art to be made, right? And the money would eventually come. And I often think about Billy Joel. Like I found out he didn't really break through till his third album in the late 70s.
Wow.
Right? I mean, so then you go mid 80s or early 80s, MTV comes out shortly after VH1, goes from the music industry to the entertainment industry because the mystique's kind of gone and now everybody's looking at music instead of just listening to music.
Yes.
And then you fast forward a little bit more into the 90s when the blank CD and the CD burner came out and the music sales came down.
Yes.
And so these record companies went from being run by music lovers and music makers to Wall Street people, basically, who were saying, hey, we need this percentage profit margin every quarter. And if you're not delivering, then something needs to change. Well, here's what changed.
Yeah.
We don't take risk. So development involves risk and time. You pull that out of the equation and the art goes down. Okay?
Wow.
Because now all that's left is you better deliver and you better hit.
Yeah.
On your first single, or sorry, you're canned. So people weren't getting record deals or development deals anymore. They were getting single deals. Single song deals.
So you built your whole career around developing artists rather than just producing tracks. Where did that heart for that development come from? Why even do that?
Man, why do you care about the people on the outskirts, the ones that are overlooked? Aware worship. It's like it's born in you. I like to say, so I'm such a great person. It's just in me. And it's
care.
Not, I just care about the people that have a voice. I don't even mean a singing voice. They were put on this earth to do something, to say something, to be something, to project something, and they're being overlooked. And they have the potential. It's like raising children in a way. Like I see my kids, and it's like, hey, if they come home, their report card is like A, C- in math. Well, guess what? I'm not going to go, get out of the house. You're no good. I'm going to help them. My wife's going to help them get that C- up to an A. We're going to, their worth is innate.
Yeah.
Right? And so I see people with a gift and talent. And like when I saw you, I was like, here's a guy that when he sings, like we throw the word anointing around in the church, but it makes people pay attention.
Yeah.
That's a gift.
Wow.
That's a communicative gift. And when I see that in people, I want to help them polish it and refine it and say, look, this is a pearl. Don't discount this. Don't chase what other people are doing. Don't listen to all the voices people telling you to be somebody you're not.
Yeah.
Be the best you, and I can help you be the best you.
Well, you know what's so funny is like you realize that you have a gift. I realized I had a gift, and all I wanted to do my whole life was to just maximize or unlock my potential. It's part of the reason why I'm helping so many other people, because I just never had people to really help me unlock my potential. You were one of those people that, it wasn't just come to the studio and sing and I'll help the recording sound good. You were also encouraging my life. Like you would see, you noticed that when I started to grow, whether it was on the worship teams or different things, people would, I feel like I would get haters, and that used to eat my lunch. Why do you think I had to walk through that? And people like myself.
Yeah. So I think there's a few things just from my vantage point. One is that when you have a strong gift, and I would say it's fair to say that you're gifted in multiple areas. It's almost sometimes people are like, that too, you're good at that too.
Yes.
Oh, you're good at that. We used to joke, the Calvinator, it slices, it dices, right? And so it's like for other people, their own insecurity can make them feel small, where it's like, no, you do you. There's a place for you too. But there's some of that. I also think, we live in human bodies, but it's a spiritual world. And so the enemy doesn't want you shining your light super bright. So he's going to come and try and attack you and make you feel rejected by other people. And it's like, it's an easy dart to throw. But I'm proud of you that you've worked your way through all of that, and you continue to move forward, and not just for you, but for so many other people.
Yeah, you were like a music career therapist. Like, that's like y'all, seriously, look up Sal, because I could talk to you not just from the musical side, but I could talk to you from the career perspective. I can talk to you from my fears. And here's, we used to go to church together. You've seen me from the studio. You've seen me being on the worship team, trying to just use what God has given me. You've seen me small. You've seen me big. You know me up and down. You've seen me lose my family. You've seen me lose my parents. You've seen the people treat me different after I lost my parents. You've seen me managing artists. You've seen me doing well. You've seen me losing them. You've seen me go through it all. And what I do appreciate is your ability to develop the person, because I think now what I'm walking in, and some people say, oh, he's just talented. Like, I paid a cost to be here. Like, this is not, if people knew the whole story, I've worked hard to get here and to have whatever kind of blessings. But like, people are like me though. And that's why I do this podcast, because I think there are so many people that are out there that are like, what happened to artist development? Why aren't people doing this anymore? Let's just start with why, and I just use Nashville because that's where we were based. Why have people stopped developing artists? Why has that gone silent? It used to be so loud in the 80s and early 90s and everything. Why has that stopped, in your opinion?
All right. So here's if we're going to talk real.
Yes.
I'm going to be real. So first of all, being a producer and being an artist developer are not the same skill. They're not the same job. They're not even really the same gifting. I happen to be a producer, and the artist development, I happen to be good at that too. But it's kind of rare that it's in one person, right? So most artists go to a producer, and producers are wonderful. Many of my friends are producers, are great. I wish I could do what a lot of them do. Great, go to them for production, and they can help you, maybe guide you through like how to make the music you bring or you write with them sound great and sound the best. But there's a different thing. So artist development requires a lot of selflessness, and most people, for being real, are working to build their lives, their own self. The producer's trying to rise the ranks, the artist's trying to rise the ranks, the songwriter's trying to rise the ranks. And yeah, we're all friends and we're friendly, but everybody's taking care of their own business. Yeah. The role of the artist developer is selfless, because it's not I'm not going to give you advice based on what benefits me. Right. If we have a consultation, you walk out and I didn't save you $10,000 in waste, and I didn't help you figure out the next 5 steps, I feel like, take your money back. You know what? Don't even pay me. Wow. I've never had that happen though, because everybody walks out going, you untangled my mess. I didn't even know how to go from where I am. I didn't know what to do. And here's the reason. Is because if I just wrote a book, people, you should write a book on artist development. There's 7 steps. And it's like, yeah, but here's the thing. everybody needs like all of these things, but like, does everybody need the same amount of vitamin D or vitamin
Right.
B or vitamin C? No.
Yeah.
You got to do blood work to figure out where you're deficient.
Yeah.
And then you supplement where you're deficient. Well, I
That's
have to get
good.
to know somebody and say, tell me about your life. This is where I start with people. How'd you grow up? Tell me about your family. Why do you love music? When were you introduced to music? What's your passion? Who do you care about? What drives you? That stuff
Yeah.
is all intertwined into how you should write songs, record songs, the style you should be doing, the people you should be singing to.
Yeah.
If that's not connected to your story, then you're
Yeah.
just making nice music that's going to last about 10 minutes.
10 minutes. And you know what's crazy is like as you're talking, I keep thinking of the journey, and I don't mean to monopolize this episode about my journey, but it's my podcast. But
Yeah.
so, you know, the things that I do now when I sing and I play at the piano with Michael Walter, the guy that plays, and he does a great job. But my real love of singing at the piano came from playing with you. Because when we produced the songs, you know, I'm kind of coming from the gospel world, and you were coming from the CCM world, but you understood soul and gospel and R&B,
Right.
but you had an approach where less was more. And I don't know if I ever told you that, but like that is like become my thing.
Yeah.
And I remember when we recorded my song Receive, and you were playing for me in San Diego.
Oh, yeah.
And when we got to the sweet mystery, and dun, 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 and that thing just opened up. You weren't playing a lot. And do you remember that moment
I do.
where it just felt like
Yeah.
this holy hush, just kind of, you knew that somebody else was involved,
Yes.
and it wasn't you, me, or you.
Totally. It was like the Red Sea parted, and here comes Jesus walking down the middle, like, I'm here.
Exactly. And I never forgot that. And so that's what a lot of people are seeing on YouTube is something that I use that experience where, and Michael has been great at adopting that, you know, but I've learned that less is more. And I've actually found my niche, kind of like that's my strong suit now of less is a little bit more. And so when I found out that people on YouTube were like, we just want this devotion, I'm like, I can do this all day
Right.
long.
Right.
I've been doing this for years, sitting at the piano with Sal Oliveri. And so even if Michael wasn't playing it, whoever's going to play for me, you got to play. You got to play less. You can't play. You can't be. I mean, I like that too.
Yeah, me too.
But when it's time to chill, it's time to chill. And so, but I just keep bringing these things up because this is me developing beyond an artist. So a lot of people are saying like, yeah, he can sing, but Calvin's a businessman. And so I've had all this potential as a producer, as a, you know, and I could just sit there and talk to you about it all. But I want to say, you know, there are people that are watching that are like, what do I do? You know, I'm young. I feel like Calvin, or I feel like I got these instincts. Where do you think they start?
They have to start with their story. I think you always have to start with the why. And it sounds philosophical, but it really matters. And I talked about it just a few minutes ago. But if they can stay true to, Lord, what experiences have I been through that you can use? What hurts have I been through? What joys? What, you know, good things, bad things, right? And what is it that I really have to share that is true and
Yeah.
authentic? If they can start there, then you look at your skills and you say, well, I can do runs, or I'm more of a simple like melody person, or it's about tone, you know, wherever your skill set is. Oh, I'm an okay songwriter, or maybe they're a great song. You just have to start looking at your skills and then make sure that your style and your
Right.
songs match your story and your skills. So you start with your story, you go to your skills. What do I have to offer that sets me apart, or just that I do best?
Yeah.
And then look, if Whitney Houston, no, I'll use, if Mariah Carey came out
Okay.
singing Taylor Swift songs, which were hits,
Yeah.
waste.
That's a waste of the voice.
If Taylor Swift tried to sing Mariah songs,
big for her.
flop.
Yeah.
But they were hits because they did what they were good at doing. And you needed material, you needed songs and a genre that allowed Mariah to do all her runs in her 5 octaves.
Yeah.
And so the sound and the genre and the music making has to fit. It's like wardrobe.
Yeah.
Well, what event are you going to? You going to a formal? And what's your body shape? And well, then you should wear this.
Yeah.
Right? You just don't put on somebody else's clothes because it worked for them.
Yeah.
You've got to start with what's inside. So that's where people start. And then you honestly, unless you're incredibly self-aware, which is very hard for all of us artists to be.
Yeah.
You need people around you that understand how you want to go to Chicago. I know 8 routes.
Yeah.
This is the best one for you. And you need people that can help guide you there, right?
Yes.
And I hate to say it, but honestly, it's like Serena Williams would never not have a coach.
Yeah.
Olympic athletes would never not have a coach that's like, oh, I've taken 4 people to the gold, right? To the gold medal.
Yeah.
So you need people who have been there. And you just have to be willing to hunt them down and get a hold of them.
Dude, that is amazing. Let's take a quick break, and we're going to come back and we're going to talk some more about artist development. Hey, real quick, I want to take a second and talk to you directly. If what we've been talking about today is resonating with you, then I want you to know that this is just the beginning. Make Believe isn't just a podcast episode that you stumbled across. It's actually a series, 10 episodes in this exact artist series. And guess what? We're going deeper every single week. We're going to talk about how to build your audience, how to go viral, how to build your team, how to handle rejection, how to create the career that you've always wanted, or you were waiting for someone to give you permission. So if this is speaking to you, I really need you to do me a favor. Hit subscribe right now. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, wherever you're listening. And if you know somebody who needs to hear this, a musician, worship leader, or another creative entrepreneur who's been waiting for their moment, share this episode with them today. The community that we're building here, it really matters, y'all. And I want you to be a part. I'm Calvin Nowell. This is Make Believe. Now, let's get back to the show. All right, we're back. And Sal, here's the question I have for you. What do you do if you don't have a label investing in you? What do you do if you're that artist right now? Yeah. Where do they even start?
Well, the reality is that's everybody's life because there's very few that are on labels, right? So depends where you live. If you're in a place like Nashville, LA, Atlanta, different music towns, you have a lot more networking capabilities, and just sometimes being around other artists and seeing what they're doing is an education, right? So that's great. But let's just say you aren't in one of those cities. Thankfully, we've got YouTube, we've got channels like this. There's many resources. So I think it's just educate yourself, and you can have a hobby and do whatever you want. You want to just make music for you, you can do it however you want. Doesn't matter if anybody likes it. You call the shots. You want to have the chance of having a career, then you have to treat it like a business. And it doesn't mean you have to suck the life or soul out of it. It just means there are other parts of the job. Like, hey, a hobby is doing what you like when you like doing it. You like to cook? Good. Invite some friends over when you feel like it. You want a restaurant? Guess what? Monday through Friday. You're going to be there. And you're going to be cooking stuff that you don't really like to eat, but you know it's going to sell. Right? So that's the difference is you educate yourself. You try and find out what is working from a model standpoint. You're not going to copy another artist from their sound, but you're trying to just figure out what are the components. When I do take an artist through, I usually do a 2-hour consultation at the beginning, and I go through 7 steps that have to be present for you to have a chance of being successful, right? And that's like the story and the sound and the songs and those kinds of things. And it's funny, I get to the end and there's always 2 or 3 of them where they're like, yeah, that's where I'm weak. And I'm like, yeah, right. Yeah. So let's work on those. And sometimes it's like social media. They're like, I'm not a social media person. And I go, well, guess what? It's going to be you or your mom. Somebody needs to do it.
Somebody has to do it.
Right. Like the plumber puts his name on the side of the van and puts an ad on TV and on the radio, and you just have to do it. You want to extract that? Let's go back to the hobby category. Right?
So you don't want to do this as a career if you don't want to do social media. You have to do it.
You have to do it. So that's really what it comes down to. Is I think people could find the resources of what they probably should be doing from like music creation, marketing, sales, branding, right? You can get some good ideas, but the fine tuning is where the magic happens.
That's it. Because some people, you got to outdo the competition, and you have to. And that doesn't mean you have to be better than them, but you need to be the best version of you
Right.
that you could possibly be.
Right.
Like now, you may not still sing better than such and such, but at least maximize the gifts and the talents that you have.
Right.
And I always tell people, if you're in the 7th grade, you play with 12th graders. Let the 12th graders beat you in basketball. It's going to be okay.
Right.
But by the time you get to the 12th grade, you're going to be great. But if you keep playing with 7th graders, you already can beat them.
Right.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so what I've tried to do was when I moved here from Cincinnati, when I moved to Nashville, I surrounded myself with people that were better than me. I didn't know this about production. I didn't know this about, there are singers here that do session singing. Like that was like the Michael Wilshire and Lori. Remember all those people like and then Leanne Palmore and Gerard and Jovan. Like there were people here that did this professionally. And the culture itself develops you because that's the culture, the environment. Like you're shaped by the environment that you're in. That is why a lot of people come to Nashville because, if I do have to work a job from 9 to 5, at least from 5 to 7, I can have a great coffee shop dinner with Sal Oliveri, talk about my music production. I can go home, eat dinner with my family from 7 to 9, 10, put the kids in,
Right.
But you needed to be in the right place. Now, people can leave here when they feel like they've got the foundation and it's not stuck on living here in Nashville, but you paid your dues, you have the connections, and so you can live pretty much anywhere. But I really see that a lot of artists are not becoming great at what they do. Why do you think today's artist is not really trying to self-develop themselves to be greater?
I think there's a few factors. To be quite honest, money is a big issue. Like it costs money to be consistent.
Right.
If you're going to consistently release professional singles, and unless you're a producer yourself, which many artists aren't producers, able to do it all themselves and save the money, it's expensive. And so like any small business, there's a period of investment, maybe for a couple of years before you see a return.
Yeah.
And most times, unless someone has rich parents or, a job that pays them super well, it's just hard monetarily
Right.
to be in the game long enough to see the needle start moving, right? So
Yeah.
there's that. There's sometimes it's work ethic. Sometimes it's just not a real conviction. They're like, there's risk reward. It's like, man, how much am I going to risk for this reward? And if you don't want it bad enough, like the people like you or me or others, that it was like, I didn't have a plan B.
Yeah.
It was like, I feel called to this, and through good times and hard times, I just keep pressing.
Now, let me ask you this. That's from the artist side. What's your take on the gatekeepers here? And I say Nashville, but I just mean the music industry.
Yeah.
What's your take on where they are? Are they at the right place, or they need to actually be encouraged to do better? Or just what's your take on the gatekeepers here? And honestly, we're not naming no names. I'm not doing any names, but I'm just meaning if it's good, then it's good. If it's not great, then I just want to know, like, where can it improve?
I think at any point, there's always going to be people doing a great job and some people not doing such a great job. There's going to be people with, like, you can't throw everybody into like, everybody's selfish. There are people working hard for others, right? But ultimately, I think human emotion, fear and greed rule most people throughout all history. It's why investors say in the stock market, they can predict what's going to happen because people's psychology is the same. They react to fear and greed. And how that plays out in music is everybody's trying to cover their own butt, and they don't want to, no one wants to go down a rung. They want to go up. And so there's all these different dynamics. So I don't know. I mean, you'd have to go person by person, and there's a lot of great people out there, but ultimately the record label world or the entertainment world, it's a very narrow focus. I mean, they're selling a specific thing based on history of what sold before. I think the ones that have done well throughout history, the Clive Davises, the David Fosters, the people who spot talent and know how to push something into the future, you know, those are the people that I think will do better and last than those who are just chasing something that is historical.
Yeah, and you know, I'm looking at the trends now. It's where like we sing and produce about our faith, you know, and it wasn't like as popular as it is becoming now. I think people are just looking for something authentic, you know, which I bring up like Forrest Frank, you know, that dude is killing it. All multi-generational.
Right.
I mean, he's bringing the moms, the dads, the grandparents, the
Yep.
kids to the
Right.
concert.
Right.
I just saw something that he posted. It was 40,000 people at his concert
Man.
singing "Your Way Is Better," like his big song,
Yeah.
and it sounded like heaven,
Right.
you know. But what I'm bringing it up to say, he was really being true to who he was. And I feel like there's an element of a spiritual element, especially for those in Christian music, that God is like, he can open a door bigger than you could ever imagine. And what I like about him is he's not taking his cues from Nashville. He's not always in Nashville like, do I need to get with this person or this booking agent? Like, he is like,
He's doing his thing.
He's doing his thing. I heard he was at an award show, BMI, got an award, and didn't go up and take it. And sat in the back. You know, he's like,
He's humble.
he's humble.
He's a servant.
He's a servant. And it's so great to see because you can see God give him everything. And he's not going to, well, let me ask all the industry gurus.
Right.
He's just like, Lord, I will lay this. He's keeping the main thing the main thing.
Yes.
And the main thing has now become the main thing. It's
Right.
breaking records.
Right.
And everybody's like, whoa, how do we be like Forrest Frank?
Yeah.
It's like, you die daily. You have a relationship with the person that he has a relationship with. And you trust to help him to develop you. Because I do think that makes a difference if you do Christian entertainment or whatever you want to call it, ministry or whatever. I heard people say God can dream a bigger dream than you could ever dream.
Right.
And when I started to lean into God's dream for my life versus Calvin's dream, it started to get way better and doors started to open that I haven't been able to even communicate what's going on.
Right.
But, you know, I see that there are people that are like me that are sitting out there and I want to kind of land the plane. They're just basically like, how do I get going?
Yeah.
You know, I'm hearing this. I'm encouraged. I need somebody to develop me. I live in Florida, or let's just say I live in Texas, and you're saying good things, Calvin. You're saying good things, Sal. But what do I do practically? Like, are your services, one, if people even need consulting, can they come to you?
They can.
So
Yes.
this is something that you offer.
And I do this regularly. Yes.
You do this regularly. Great.
Zoom, FaceTime, in person, wherever they happen to be. And I take them through 2 hours with getting to know them, all the questions.
Perfect.
There's no wrong answers. And it's like going to a doctor. You don't lie to your doctor and say, everything's great.
Yeah.
The doctor can't help you. But the doctor's not going to write you a prescription until he inspects, examines you.
Exactly. Yeah.
So this is where the fine tuning comes in. And this is what I do offer people. And sometimes they'll go, well, does this mean I have to hire you to produce me? And I go, no. Often I'll recommend another producer. If I go,
Yes.
oh, you need to go work with my buddy Ron Rawls. He's amazing at this kind of thing. Right?
And people need to get your money together. Because don't ask people that do this for a living to do this for free. You need to invest in yourself. You need to invest in yourself and find someone like a Sal. And we will put what's the best way they can get in
Just find me on
touch?
social media. Sal Oliveri, producer at
Yes.
Instagram or Facebook.
It's on the screen. You see that
Yeah.
right there. Follow him. Reach out to him. He's just one of the individuals, I'm sure, amongst many. But if you don't have to even look further, you book a time and have conversations. And I want to say this clearly and as passionately as I can say. I have not went to get the big gurus of the global industry to be on this podcast. I didn't want to start off that way. This is the person that I go to when I'm trying to figure out how to play the cards that have been dealt to me. I talk to Sal. He is incredible at giving me practical advice. I'm telling you, he's like, well, Calvin, have you thought about this? No, I didn't think about that. Well, you might want to think about this. You're making this song is great. I don't know if it's the best, and sometimes you need people to tell you the truth, that have a good ear. He'll tell you, this mix is missing something. Go back to your mix guy and tell him to do this EQ or to do that EQ, or your vocals seem a little bit like this. Have you ever thought about recording your vocals? Like when I would record my vocals, and see, that was another thing. When I recorded my vocals with Sal, I could sing. And almost, or I didn't like to go to other people's to record my vocals because you get great vocals in your studio, and I'm just like, anyway, I had to rabbit trail on that. But seriously though, reach out to Sal if you need some development. And I mean, are you gonna? I know you. Do you have a program other than just the consultation? But like, you need to get you a course.
Yeah. So the way it typically goes is they'll meet with me for 2 hours and we'll sort it out and get a game plan and say, okay, for you to move forward towards your goal, if it's 6 months, here's your first set of goals, 2 years, another set of goals, right? And this is how you're going to get that direction. And then they sometimes will just check back in with me and say, hey, okay, I've done the steps you told me to do. Sometimes they're like, hey, I do want you to produce it. You seem like the right fit for me and it feels right. Then great. Then we schedule that out. And then I connect them with people like yourself or others who are like, hey, I'm not a marketing guy, but I can connect you with people. Or you need a website built. Oh, yeah, I know people, right? Like, so it's not like I'm trying to build some sort of business that like it's all in-house because I need something. No. I'm trying to equip people.
Yeah.
Right? And the where people start. So this is what I offer is important. I'm not trying to sell myself. What I'm saying is whether it's me or somebody else, this is what people need, artists need. They need people that say, I see you.
Yes.
I see what God put in you, and I think I can help you be, as you said, the best version of yourself. What you don't want is some expert who says, let's just change who you are because I know how to sell this other thing. And you, if we change just enough, you can fit in this little box over here and then we can sell it and I'll make you a lot of money. I'll make you famous, kid, with the stogie. Yeah. It's like, well, I would run from those people because you may get success and be miserable.
Yeah.
Right? Because you will feel like no one's ever seen me and validated the real me. So what you need are people who see you and are willing to say, I recognize that and there's something valuable there and I can help you.
With that being said, y'all, that's what this is about. Sal saw me. He saw my potential. And it ain't just seeing my potential. He was able to help unlock it and release my potential. And now I'm doing this at a bigger level because of people like Sal. So, Sal, I just want to thank you for being on Make Believe. I don't know if you know this, but what I say about Make Believe is you don't get what you want because you want it. You get what you believe is possible. Too many times, like, I want it. That doesn't happen just because you want something. It doesn't just always come to you just because I want $1 million. Well, until you believe it's possible that you can go work
right
and get $1 million, it ain't coming to you. And so that's what make believe. It's like it went from make believe was with the V was like dreaming.
Yeah.
We're just dreaming up everything. Make believe is like, now we taking from dreams from awareness to action. We need to figure out how to make these dreams a reality. Yeah. And it's no more time to be silent on artist development. It needs to be spoken. The reason why you might not have the career that you want is because you haven't been developed.
Right.
You haven't been developed. Everybody still needs development until you people, Oprah, everybody surrounds themselves around people to help further develop what they do. If you're just an artist and you think just because you can sing and you got it all, that's like backwards.
Well, and you're just going to stay right where you are.
You're going to stay right there. That's where you're going to stay.
Right.
And so, man, thank you for being a part of this show. I just really can't thank you enough. And then we will see you next time.
All right. Thanks for having me, Calvin.
All right.